and welcome to another vintage inspired video. Today's video is going to be a behind the scenes of a recent photo shoot I did, and the photo shoot was inspired by Audrey Hepburn's photo spread from Life magazine in 1953. Had to check that. I have the magazine sitting over here. So these photos are ones that I tried to recreate a couple of years ago, and they were fine. For me, I am a perfectionist, and so I always knew that I can improve upon them. And it wasn't until I went to an estate sale just about a month ago, and at this sale I found this shirt. And once you see the photos that I was recreating, this will make so much sense to you. But as soon as I saw this, I knew exactly what I needed to do. I had to recreate those photos again and add in some other props that I didn't have at the time. So this shirt was number one though, because the shirt I had for the first one, I used my husband's shirt and it was okay, but it clearly was not the same oversizedness as the one Audrey Hepburn had. Here is the actual Life magazine from 1953. I've had this for a few years now, and I don't think I've ever taken it out of this bag. I've always meant to get it framed, but I wasn't sure how to do that because it's pretty thick. So that will be a project for another day, but this is one of the shots that I recreated along with a few other ones. So let's get into it. Here's the phone that I used. This is actually a retro phone and was what I used in high school. And so it had a curly cord, which is a much more modern type of cord for a telephone. And I needed a straight cord. So I bought that other cord you just saw on eBay. Wasn't perfect, but it got the job done. But if you keep watching, you will see the perfectionist in me could not just leave well enough alone. And I found something when I was at an antique store, which led me to doing this entire shoot for a fourth time. Doing these eyebrows was quite the production, and like I just said, I did this shoot 4 times. So, as for the makeup, I did my best to replicate what I saw on the cover of Life magazine, and I think that it got the point across. These bangs, I bought I think 4 different types of bangs to test, and these ones were the best. I'll put a link to them in the description of the video in case you're also looking for clip-on bangs. The good thing about them was that they can be curled, which was an important part of the look, even though I did this shoot on a second day and I didn't curl them as much. I don't know what I was doing on that day, but here is me trying to curl them and fuss with them. I don't know how some of you out there do it with bangs. They are super cute. They seem like they just take a lot of work to get them looking exactly how you want them to. In an effort to be a little bit closer to the original inspiration photos, I used my Rolleicord camera. It is a medium format camera that is from about the late 1950s, early 1960s. My hypothesis is the original photographer, Mark Shaw, used something similar. There's something called a Rolleiflex, which would have been the more professional version of this camera that was used at the time. So it's possible, because he was using a medium format camera for his shots, that he was using the same brand camera. Just a quick little look at my Elvis record there. I have a video coming about that because that is not just any old Elvis record. After the hair and makeup was all done, then it was time to set up the scene. So I enlisted the help of my husband. We did a little bit of furniture rearranging in this office, set down this rug, and it took a little bit of time, especially because I did this on multiple different days. And here is what the final looked like. I always do test shots first just to see what needs to be moved. This is me telling my husband what I needed him to help me move, because getting in and out of the positions was not easy. So I was trying to minimize how much I needed to move around. We'll do it at this crop, but since it seems like they were shooting, I like this, but maybe when we do a second day, we'll figure out moving this out more so you could back up further, and that'll be... And then feed her like that. This was me setting up the Rolleicord. It takes a little bit more fine-tuning and precision to get it exactly where you want it. And then I enlisted the help of my husband to be the trigger puller on that, because there is no self-timer or any way I could have done that on my own. I selected 5 different shots from that shoot to recreate. And right here are the various poses that I was doing, along with what the film photos look like from the rolling cord. Beyond the film photos, I also was shooting with my digital camera, so those shots will be at the end of the video. I don't know what the original shot was.
Yeah, I don't see any phone in the picture. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
The photos were taken at Audrey Hepburn's apartment in Los Angeles during her filming of her second starring film role, Sabrina. Yeah. Photographer Mark Shaw took the photos for the December 7th, 1953 cover and corresponding 9-page photo essay of Life magazine. Initially, Audrey Hepburn did all she could to avoid Shaw's cameras, but when she realized they shared an intense devotion to their work, she began to treat him like a member of the family.
It's now winding all the way. Yeah.
Shaw took the first photos of her at home ever released for publication. Shaw opted to focus on her workaday life, and the magazine noted not because there's anything so remarkable about it, which I would disagree to that, but they go on to say, because whatever Audrey does, she looks pretty remarkable doing it. And that I would agree with. In a note at the beginning of the issue, Shaw commented that she was a monster when it came to productivity, and that the studio technicians who worked with her guessed that she would have a long and illustrious career because of that. And they were right, though she did cut her career shorter than it maybe could have otherwise been because she wanted to be a mother and have all of her time devoted to her 2 boys. This footage right here was from the second day that I did this. The first day I was running out of light, and then I just wanted to do it again, see what I can improve upon. So here I am posing, reviewing, messing with that cord, which was a little bit annoying because it kept coming out of the phone. And then many months later, I went to an antique store with a friend of mine and I found an actual vintage 1950s telephone, and I knew I am going to have to do this photo shoot again because I need to use this phone for it because I can never leave well enough alone, but I am really glad that I did it. That's a wrap. It took me a little bit longer to create those photos than I had anticipated. I think when you're trying to emulate an exact photograph, getting the details right is important. And so I think working with all of those parameters and trying to match Audrey and her photos added to how long things took. And then also when using that film camera I was using, it slows you down in a good way, but you just really need to get your settings dialed in, have your focus dialed in, and all of that stuff takes a little bit more time than on a digital camera. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.